wondered how you onboard new students after they buy your course? Well, keep watching this video to find out everything you need to know. Hey everyone, my name is Janelle Allen, Learning and Marketing Strategist for online course creators. If you're new here, welcome. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, be sure to click that subscribe button and don't forget to hit the bell icon next to it so that you get notifications for every new video that I release. All right, we are going to jump right into talking about how to set up an onboarding sequence for new students in your course. Let's dive in. So when I talk about onboarding, I'm really talking about orientation. However, the word onboarding has become really popular, especially when it comes to education. So that's what we're going to use in this video. But I do want to stick with that word orientation just for a moment, because if you've ever gone to college or you have a child that's gone to school, or, you've gone to school, right? You've had an experience where you went through orientation. And it's usually a few hours or a whole day where you're going to go and get information on how to start off that educational experience successfully. They're going to tell you the things that you need to know to get started. They're going to orient you to the environment and help you figure out where to go for certain things. So that is exactly what you want to do in your onboarding sequence. Now, why should you do this? Well, your students need to know what to expect. Setting clear expectations is so important as an instructor. So how do they use your course platform, especially if they've never used it before? What are the engagement rules? Do you have specific boundaries for how students should contact you? Are there things that they need to know as far as engaging within the community if you have one? And are there just other preferences that you have around communication? Also, accessing the material, making sure that they're able to access it, navigate through the course platform. And then one last one that's really important is if you have a course where you drip out the content, actually, even if you don't, it's often helpful to send maybe weekly emails, whatever cadence works for you. It could be every few days, it could be once a week, but send some emails out that align with, the lessons in the course to help students stay engaged, to give them that little nudge of inspiration to log in and get back to work and just stay on track and know that you're there to support them if they get stuck. So that's why having an onboarding sequence is so important for your new students. Now, let's take a walkthrough of an onboarding sequence that I have set up for my list building course, First 500 Fans. All right, so I'm logged into my ConvertKit account, and what you're looking at right now is the onboarding sequence for my course that teaches people how to start and grow their email list. It's called First 500 Fans. Now, when you enroll in the course, this is the first email that goes out. It goes out immediately. And this is basically just a email that's thanking people and also getting them to take action, right? Log in to the course, namely. Now, after that email goes out, and so actually, let me take a step back. So you can kind of see the structure of what I'm doing here. I'm saying, thank you for buying the course. I'm confirming that they made a good decision, right? You've taken the first step towards building your email list and growing your business. And then I give them some direction on what to do next, right? You should have gotten an email from the course platform that I'm currently using, which is Podia. And then I tell them about a workbook that they should get access to. And then, so the last thing here is saying, hey, go ahead and log into the course. So that goes out immediately. And then the next day, I send another email. And this one is really just asking them, in case they didn't take action before, that's why I send another email the next day saying, hey, yesterday you signed up, congratulations. And then we talk about one of the first things that they're going to see when they log into the course, which is kind of what I call step 0 of having the foundations in place, a domain name, a website, and having an account with an email service provider in this case. So whatever, you're teaching, the content, of course, will be different. And then I end with another call for them to log in. So I'm not going to go through all of these emails, but the overall structure is every couple of days, I am sending an email out. So I typically do, one day, then I wait a couple of days. Then I'll send out another email the next day, and then I'll wait a couple of days. And about midway through the onboarding sequence, I just have a check-in. So that's what you see here. There's no, hey, log in and get to work. It's more of how are things going? Feel free to reach out, hit reply to this email. Just to check in. These emails align with the content in the course. So that first email was more the orientation. Hey, you're in the right place. This is what you should have access to. If you don't have access to that, here's what to do about it, how to reach me so that I can help you out. And here's the login link to the platform. But everything else, with the exception of the checking in email, is really aligned with the lessons that they're going through, right? It's kind of supplementing or supporting that and getting them to take action and go in, but also providing a little bit of context and a little humor. I've got to give here a little humor for the material because I know that mindset issues do come up. So that's the structure that I use for this particular course. I email more frequently with this one. In my group program, for example, for the self-paced version, I send an email out less frequently. But for this one, I really want people to log in and take action and kind of overcome those mindset things. So then after, about 2 weeks after they've been in the course, I have another check-in email that says, hey, wow, it's been 2 weeks since you signed up. How's everything going? And this is where I'm actually looking for feedback. I want to know if the course has met their expectations, if they have any suggestions for improvements, if something is confusing. This is an opportunity for me to check in with them and find that out. And then after that, a couple days later, we get back to the emails that support the lesson material. And we wrap up with an email that talks about one of the last lessons, which really talks about some of the challenges that people have with guest posts, which is one of the ways I teach of growing your email list in this course. So that's the structure that I use for this onboarding sequence. Now, if I had to make some improvements on this sequence, I would probably bring back an email that I used to have in here, which was about once they've been in it for a month, I kind of wrap things up, right? I bring it to a close and I would say, hey, it's been 30 days, by now you should have gone through all the material, and asking them if they have gotten stuck or they found they didn't work through the material, inviting them to reach out to me with some help. So I may add that email back in. I'm actually not even sure why I took it out, maybe when I moved over to ConvertKit. But anyway, this is a walkthrough of an onboarding sequence that I use for one of my courses. So how do you get people into your onboarding sequence after they buy your course? Well, there's actually 3 ways to do it. The first way is going to be the simplest way, and that is directly within your course platform. Now, this may not apply to everyone. You're going to need a platform that gives you the option to send emails. So it needs to have an email marketing piece of the platform included. And what I mean by that is that when someone buys, you're able to set up a sequence that automatically goes out. Now, if you've watched my video on how to get started with automation, which I'll link to up in the top somewhere, you know that I talk about the structure of an automation. It's going to have a trigger and at least one action. So setting up an automation within your course platform to send out your onboarding sequence is the trigger is going to be when they buy the course, and the action is to send that out. So you should be good to go. One thing you do want to think about and just double check to make sure that it allows you to send more than one email because some platforms just allow you to send the confirmation and the receipt. But you want to send out a sequence of emails. So the other thing you want to check for is that it allows you to delay the emails. Reason being is because, you might have an email that goes out immediately that thanks them for purchasing and gives them the lay of the land as far as the platform is concerned. But you also may want to have emails that go out maybe on a weekly basis that gives them a little bit of a nudge to log in, share some context around the lesson material, and ultimately just creates a great learning experience for your student. So that is one way you can do it. The second way to connect the dots and make the technology work for setting up your onboarding sequence is going to be a direct integration between your course platform and your email service. So what do I mean by that? Well, let's say you are using an email service like Drip or ConvertKit or ActiveCampaign. If your course platform like Teachable or Podia or Thinkific directly integrates with that platform, then you may be able to set up the same structure, right? The trigger is when someone buys a course on your platform, and then the action, which you should be able to set up usually you set it up through your course platform. You'll look for the integration and set that up so that the trigger, once that's fired and they buy the course, it tells ConvertKit to enroll them into the onboarding sequence. So that's a really simple way, especially if you're like me and you want to keep all of your email communications going out through your email service and not through your course platform. I just like to be able to see and make sure that everything is sending. So if that's what you want to do, set up a direct integration between your host, your course platform that's hosting your course, and your email service. Now, what if there's not a direct integration? You can use a tool like Zapier to set one up. All right, so the last way to set up the technology is if you are using a shopping cart, right? Another layer of complexity. For a lot of people, they're using the shopping cart that comes with their course platform, right? So people go to Podia to buy your course. They go to Thinkific to buy your course. They go to Teachable to buy your course. But some people like to use third-party shopping carts like Samcart and Thrivecart because they tend to boost the conversion rates a little bit. So if that is you, then you're going to need to set up an integration between the shopping cart and your email service because that's where the purchase is taking place. The shopping cart is actually managing that piece. So again, your shopping cart may have a direct integration. If you're using one like Samcart or Thrivecart, look to see if it directly integrates with your email service. And if so, you do the same thing. You're going to set it up so that once the purchase is made, it tells ConvertKit, enroll this person, sends their information, and enrolls them into the onboarding sequence. And same deal. If there's not a direct integration, then you can use Zapier to connect the dots. All right, so in today's video, you learned how to set up an onboarding sequence for new students who have enrolled in your course and why it is so important. And you also saw some examples. Give me some love down in the comments if you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, feel free to leave those too. And if you did like the video, be sure to give me a thumbs up and don't forget to hit subscribe. I'll see you next time. Peace.